right, good evening. This is the Town Cemetery meeting for August 24th. It is 6:30 p.m. Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We will do the roll call. Myself, the chairman, Dan Bartholomew, is present. We have our secretary, Christina Madden, present. Mary Ellen Gannon is excused this evening, our third trustee, and we have our liaison, Selectman Jacoby. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
We have a few items to discuss today. The first item is I did have a discussion with our town administrator recently on some of the items that we encountered during our walkthroughs in the springtime. One of the major items that we found were retaining walls throughout the cemeteries that needed conditioning. I think forward we have a retaining wall that runs along the side of the road. That's some rocks are falling off and could use some touching up. There is the wall that's holding the tomb within Center Cemetery that we spoke about, as well as behind Blodgett Cemetery. I would say a lack of a retaining wall, where the cemetery could eventually collapse into that space, and then finally the wall within Sunnyside Cemetery on the left-hand side as you're looking at it from Central Street. That also could use some maintenance. When in our discussion, we brought up that we have a previous quote from a vendor that is on site with the town, on record with the town already, that for our Sunnyside Cemetery, and that was $5,300 if I remember correctly. We discussed that, and the town administrator recommended that we discuss as a group and decide whether we want to go to the town asking for more money for that, because it's out. We only have $5,050 within our annual budget. Right. That would, we would either need to tap into the Sunnyside Trust Fund or ask the town for more money.
Sunnyside Trust Fund, if we took the wall out of that, we would only have about maybe $3,000 to fix all of those stones and things in there that we wanted to fix. Mm-hmm. So it might be nice if we could get some money just for that wall. Mm-hmm. And I know Mel had some concerns about the cost, but that actually is in line with what they did over at Blodgett. And there's actually more work needs to be done in Sunnyside. So I thought that was a fair price myself. Mm-hmm. That one is, because they got to take down that chain link fence or something and whatever, so it's a lot more work actually. I was thought it was a good deal.
And I think that I think that we should probably revisit that quote, and with the DPW involved, where the DPW removes the chain link fence.
Oh, well, that's an idea.
I think that it was like 700. I forget exactly.
It added on, yes, to check. Yeah, they could do that.
So we could see some savings there if we explore different options.
They did try one time to fix the wall along Blodgett, and while they picked up some stones and put them back on, it really was not a good fix, and that's why we wound up having to get an actual stonemason people to do that. Mm-hmm. But it's well within their cave. They got all the barbed wire out of there, right?
Yep. So let me get through the stone walls and all.
The walls. Okay. Sorry. Okay.
So Sunnyside Cemetery. That's where we stand. I don't know if I'm going. have any motions to make there on a direction as far as that goes, because we have stones that need to be repaired as well.
Yes.
So before we talk about spending money, let's get through some of the other items, I suppose. The other retaining walls or lack of retaining walls, with Blodgett, Mr. Sorensen recommended that I go and get quotes for all of those. So I am working with that same vendor to get quotes.
Yep.
He did go out to all of the locations and looked at them, and at this point we are working on figuring out a time for me to meet with him to show him exactly, because there was a lot and he needed.
I'm particularly concerned about the Tenney Tomb right now, because I went up there to put that, and that it's kind of dicey there, and I'm afraid that roof is going to fall in. We also need to talk to DPW about getting us into the Tenney Tomb and see what the situation is inside, because it has not been looked at in years. So that's something that maybe, we need to contact DPW to have them get us in there. Because for one thing, it would give us an idea whether or not the roof was in danger in there. But that was really, I was a little uneasy standing up there. It was a little spongy. Mm-hmm. I don't know how else to describe it, so.
Well, we'll start, as Mr. Sorensen recommended, we'll start with that mason to see if they immediately have any recommendations, or recommend that we go with an expert and go and, he's an expert, but go inside and find out the inside first.
Okay,
I don't know.
You don't think we could just get DPW to let us in and then go in and check it, or do you want to wait until
I believe when we discussed it last time, it was brought up that there may need hazmats.
Do we need respirators or something? I don't know what the.
So I don't have the details on going inside, and I don't have the answers. It's something we'll have to do a bit more research to see what's available to us and what's possible, and then we should make a decision on how to approach it.
Well, I guess after we take the guy over to the Tenney Tomb, that can be addressed, because he should know about how to do that. But we might want to make sure that DPW has the keys, because I'm not 100% sure they do.
Okay.
The last person that I know that went in there, who told me he went in there, was Dave Elkonis. So I don't know, maybe he has the keys. Who knows? But
well, we have bolt cutters.
But I think it's an easy email to DPW just to ensure that and to coordinate that visit with the professional. Shouldn't be any big deal.
Yep.
We can definitely do that.
The wall at Ford, are those stones are falling into the old road?
Yes.
Okay, they're not impinging toward the gravestones or anything like that. I don't remember seeing the stones that had fallen down.
I was there today.
Yeah.
I stopped by there on my way in today, and it's a property divider wall that turns into a retaining wall as it goes
farther down
Right.
the road.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
Okay.
it's the retaining wall part of it could use some work.
Okay.
And the property divider line wall of it, I think I could walk over and pick up a few rocks, and it doesn't need
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I was not thinking about farther down the road. And that road they deliberately have left that tree over there because they built a whole new road to go around that.
Yep.
So
that gets into the additional discussion with the town administrator. We spoke about that roadway, how we had when we had gone in the spring, there was a lot of brush in the area. I know after that, DPW did get through, and tonight, especially when I went through, it's completely clear of all brush except one large log that's across, because.
So it's not used.
Exactly.
yeah, that's a deliberate log. That road is not supposed to be used. It's not maintained at all.
The director of the DPW also indicated that road will be graded soon.
Oh,
It's,
getting rutted, is it?
yeah, I'm looking at
Hello?
the email here.
This is cemetery trustees, is that what you came for?
No, Friends of Benson's.
No, that's not us. Friends of Benson, wonder where would they be meeting?
The nonprofit.
Yes.
Ah,
They had a board meeting at 7, so I'm a little early.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's on Zoom. Do you have Natalie's number?
I have her email.
Yeah,
okay,
message her.
Thank you.
okay, no worries.
So yes, they are looking at grading that. Additionally, the other concerns that we sent over to, that I spoke with the town administrator, and then the town administrator actually drove the cemeteries with the DPW director and addressed some of the discussion items that we had. There's a lot of brush in the cemeteries at the front of in the trees growing up through the walls and
Yep,
things.
yep.
They've done an outstanding job of clearing out a lot of that. There's certainly, some work to be done. The DPW director indicated that they will be, they're currently getting quotes for tree removals and things. So both in Sunnyside and Blodgett, they're looking at different trees that to remove, and that will be late fall, early winter. That will probably see some movement on that.
What about the wall at Center with an S? That one's kinda,
That wasn't on my list.
okay. Because that one's got rocks falling all over the place there.
I don't think that was on my list,
right.
and I don't remember mentioning it in our walkthroughs.
I have mentioned it previously, like in another year, but that poor cemetery is kinda, has its troubles.
So that concludes my discussion with the town administrator. Are there any other items, discussion items on that agenda? Points of discussion on that agenda item?
So when did all of this take place?
I had a.
Because I sent an email a while ago and I didn't get a response from anybody. So I'm glad to hear that a lot of this was taken care of, because a lot of this was in my memo.
Yep.
Um,
Yes, so I spoke with Mr. Sorensen probably a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, and I got an email from the DPW director on August 19th, which was a few days ago, a week ago, I suppose.
Okay, and was that CC to me?
This was sent directly to me.
Okay.
Well, you should forward that
Can you
also
forward
to-
that to me,
I
please?
certainly
It should
can,
have been
yes.
forwarded also to the other members of the committee.
I would think
sir.
so, yeah. And that was one of the, what I had put in my memo, that there needed to be, as things moved forward, that we all needed to be informed. Because I did see activity down there. There was DPW, because I live over by Musquash, so I did see activity there, which was after I had written the memo a few weeks prior to that. So, and I know I touched base with Mr. Sorensen briefly, but I was waiting to see something either in writing or be at a meeting, so.
I apologize. I'll make sure I forward these in the future, and I'll get this one to you as well.
Thank you. Because so just a reminder, part of what I do as the liaison is that at our public meetings is I make sure that these things are addressed. And I did raise all of these issues at a previous public meeting, so the public is aware that these are issues. And if I don't have the information to update the public on what has occurred, I cannot keep the public informed about the actions of this group or the actions that have been taken by DPW and the town regarding our cemeteries and all of that land that we have to be good stewards of.
Understood.
Thank you.
I will say that we've found Mr. Sorensen to be a very good advocate for the cemeteries. He's been very receptive to anytime we've talked to him about cemeteries, so I'm pleased about that.
All right, moving on to the next item on our agenda. We have Sunnyside Records Search.
All right, I reached out to the funeral home that did the funeral for Fred Fuller. And I said, this is the case. We need the cemetery records. We're told that there are at least a couple good-sized boxes of them. And we were never given any when Sunnyside was transferred to the town. Would you please reach out to the family, the people that you dealt with in order to arrange the funeral and the burial, and ask them to please contact us? And I gave them my contact information, and I have not heard anything. Now, the man, I'm pretty sure he probably did reach out to them. He seemed he understood what was going on and everything, and I don't know why they haven't reached out. It's kind of like, it's hard to figure out who it is that we're supposed to contact with the family. I don't know where they live. I don't know that there's any of them still living in Hudson. But there's got to be somebody out there that knows where these records are. There's been, Mel has suggested, well, did the state or whoever was prosecuting the whole fiasco with the fuel oil, whether they took all his records, well, did they take all the cemetery records at the same time? Were they ever returned? Do they still have them? And these are kind of like hard to figure out, but it would be very helpful to have the cemetery records, because now we have people occasionally showing up and saying, oh, but Fred said we could put 6 people in here and whatever, and we have but they don't have any documentation. And most reputable cemeteries that I know of give out deeds. It's just the way it is. And in fact, I've seen deeds from like Old Center and Westview Cemetery. I've seen them. They wrote deeds back in there. So there must have been deeds at some point, but we don't have those records, and it kind of makes us difficult for us to make any decisions about who should be buried and who shouldn't be buried in Sunnyside Cemetery. So I don't know. I'm kind of stumped as to what to do now. I don't know, maybe we should put something on our Facebook page and say, if you know anybody from the family or know anything about the records, please contact us, because we're just trying to get access to the records, that's all. And it'd be very helpful to people that want to be buried there if we have the records, because otherwise, if they don't have a deed, that cemetery is closed to burials. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't have the answers either. I'm not exactly sure at this point. I think we've done pretty much all we can.
I know. I'll put something on the Facebook page on the off chance that somebody sees it and says, oh yeah, and contacts the right person or whatever. I mean, and I don't know who in the state took the other records from the oil business, because it would be easy enough to contact them if we knew who did that, what department of the state, but I don't know what. I wasn't around then, so I don't know who actually prosecuted that whole thing and took all the records. So,
Well, like so many things, it's a matter of looking back at the paperwork that the town does have and seeing what is possible. And because what you're saying is that none of the records were given to the town.
No.
So now what? And how do we find that out? And it might be a matter of we always start back with the deed and the official paperwork that transferred and who was on there, there probably was an attorney involved.
We have the deed where it was transferred over to the town.
Right. So
took a lot of doing, but we got it.
Mm-hmm. So possibly an attorney involved in that process might know.
Well, it was a town attorney, I think, that was in on that.
Might be as easy as going to Mr. Sorensen and asking our town attorney to look back on the paperwork to find out what occurred with the files, because that would probably be the easiest and most direct path.
Well, I've been through everything that is available that's marked for cemetery trustees.
Correct.
And there's absolutely nothing in there that had pertained to Sunnyside until we got to the point where they finally transferred it over.
Right. So it just might be a starting point for a name.
Yeah.
I try and figure out the easiest starting point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else on Sunnyside records?
No, that's it. Sorry. I thought that might be the easiest way to go, but it wasn't.
Okay. Well, moving right along, the next item, we were going to discuss requesting money for Sunnyside Cemetery from the trustees of the trust funds.
Yep, so, I believe the last time we looked at it, we can access $8,000, I believe, without, and still have a good chunk there that's gonna, get interest, however minuscule it is these days. It depends on whether or not, how much we request is gonna depend on whether or not we think we can actually get some money on a timely basis from the town to repair the wall in Sunnyside, because that really needs to be worked on soon, I would think. I mean, some of those stones are getting close to falling on people's graves, especially all those veterans that were buried in the cartway up there. So, I mean, theoretically, we could ask for all 8,000, we'd spend the money on the wall, and then whatever's left over, we use to fix up all those various and sundry problems with headstones. And I don't know how far we'd get at, what is it, $250 a
It's
stone?
305 per stone.
$305 a stone. If we had 3,000 left over, we might be able to make a good dent in it.
I have a count of 6 or 7 stones that need repair in Sunnyside, and those are probably like 1s and 2s, like the higher priority 1s and priority 2s. Maybe 1 in Center, 4 in Blodgett, 2 in Ford, 2 in Center with an S. Those are loose counts from my from our notes. So 2, 4, 8, 9.
Yeah, but the Sunnyside money can only be used in Sunnyside.
Yeah. So I'm just getting full counts
Oh, okay.
on what we.
The thing about the Sunnyside, we had a whole bunch of those were actually flat on the ground, remember?
Yeah.
And most of the other ones, actually, I was surprised that there's a few that needs work over there, but on the whole, it's mostly all those old stones they allowed to just lay on the ground, and they're gonna disappear if we don't. There's a couple sinking ones. There's that one veteran's grave on the center road there, almost near the far end, that needs to be raised up. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe we would be smart, because I don't know how, was Mr. Sorensen giving you an idea whether or not we could get this money soon, or whether we have to wait for the next budget cycle?
So he indicated that if we have needs, then the sooner we ask for them to, we're not going to get money unless we ask, is
Okay.
basically what he's saying. And he's saying that we need to ask as soon as we can, because the sooner that we ask, the sooner the possibility of them being able to grant us that money is.
Where would it be coming from?
That would be up to the town to figure out.
Okay, my only.
Because it might be from DPW's budget, it might be, you're not talking about a large amount of money, because you said you
5,000.
you said you had a portion of it. You just said you had like 5,000 or 3,000 of it,
Well,
but depending upon what it is that you're asking for. Some are easier asks and some are others. There is money to maintain properties throughout the town, and it's just a matter of prioritizing where that money would be spent.
All right, so we
You can
wouldn't-
see it, in Benson Park and the other parks. There is money to maintain recreational park property, which the cemeteries are.
All right, so in other words, we wouldn't be waiting for the next budget cycle way next year.
Depends how much you're asking for.
Well, we'd be asking for the money for the wall,
Which is 5,300.
5,300.
To Mr. Sorensen's point, the sooner you ask, the sooner we know whether it needs to come, if there's money somewhere here, or if they're aware of someone who's looking to do a donation or to help the town in some manner. Until you ask, we don't know. That's how the bridge is being built at Benson Park. Originally, it was like we had to raise the money, and then we found someone who is willing to donate the labor and the work, and DPW worked with them, and now there's a new bridge.
Okay.
But it wasn't until it was asked for that anything happened.
I think that, we should, as you indicated, we should prioritize that,
Yeah.
that wall in Sunnyside. I know that the other trustee, Mary Ellen Gannon, had concerns about getting a second quote I think,
I
because.
don't know where she thinks she's gonna get it, though,
So-
because we've not been able to get anybody other than that one vendor to give us quotes in the past. And the other thing, like I said, I think it's a good amount, given how long a stretch we're talking about. And compared to what they did over at Blodgett, which was less. So I don't really, I'm not
I think
sure,
we should-
I didn't get a chance to talk to her, so I don't know what she's thinking about that. but-
Okay. I think that we should at least reach out to a few companies to see about getting a second quote, and then additionally work with DPW to have them remove the chain.
Move the chain link fence, for
Have that
sure.
removed from our quote.
Yes.
And to go from there.
And just a reminder that as different organizations are looking at their charters and things, there's a place in there for requesting funds from the town. And the board often looks at if you've made an attempt to find more than one vendor, depending upon the price, it's all outlined in the charters, the breakpoints. I forget if it's 5,000 breakpoint. There's different priorities, and document that you've looked at other places is always important as you move forward in the town.
We did in the past, but I don't remember who we reached out to.
And there are some guidelines in we're getting better guidelines for committees and organizations that have to funnel requests through the town,
Okay.
because we're working on policies.
Any other discussion or motions or anything?
Well,
on this
if we're
agenda?
not, all right, so right now, we don't still have $5,000 in this year's budget, do we?
Yeah, the year just started in July.
Yeah.
Okay. If we can avoid hitting the trust fund, then we should go ahead and engage, what's the fellow's name? I keep forgetting his name. The guy that does the repairs, and get him going on all these ones that are still hanging fire. Because doesn't he say would be able to come back in the fall?
So, I'm sorry, let's just stick to the agenda item, which is just on
Well-
requesting money for Sunnyside from the trustees of the trust
Well, we're not
funds.
gonna do that until we find out if the town is gonna give us any money.
So if we're done with that agenda item, we can move on to scheduling of work yet undone, and that's where you were.
I just want to clarify, so are you asking the town to fund the whole thing? And not take any from the trust? Because that's kind of the decision you need to make, is what are you asking for? Because when we started the conversation, you were asking for part of it, and now it sounds like you want to ask for the full amount and save the trust for fixing of the stones and things, which is whatever you guys decide. I'm just trying to clarify for the public and for anyone who listens to this.
I had thought we were gonna request from the trust fund the money for the wall.
Right.
So, but now we've got this possibility of getting the money from the town, and so that's kind of, to me, has confused the issue a little bit. I mean, it would be a whole lot easier to just request the money from the trust fund for the wall, get the money within a couple, whatever it takes for them to write the check, and then we could proceed. I just, it's so iffy whether or not we're gonna get money. It's gonna delay everything, and the longer we wait, it'll get into the winter, and then we won't get it done until next year, and it'll be even worse, and,
I tend to agree, and especially since we have these other walls that we're gonna need to repair, and those certainly are gonna need to be asks of the
Yeah,
town.
we could do
We will
that.
not be able to, we don't have budget for those at
the
all, so-
Tenney one is gonna be one that we're probably gonna have to really get, that's gonna be expensive, I think. So, I mean, we can handle the repairs to the stones out of our budget, but I think we ought to ask the trustees for the money for the wall.
I agree. I would recommend that we get a second quote for the wall,
Okay.
and then take the best, the most, fiscally responsible quote to the trust funds to request,
Yep.
the trustees of the trust fund to request that amount of money.
Okay. And then we would also contact DPW and ask them to remove at the same when the work is gonna begin, tell them to take down the fence. Do we need to have that put back up again, by the way?
I don't believe we do.
No, I don't either. So if they take it down.
Personally,
it's
I don't. I'm not a professional on the matter,
know.
but it's a chain link fence that's abutting, like right up against a stone wall. You don't need both of them.
Well, they put it up, I think, because the stone wall was starting to collapse.
Well,
You know, so,
Can I just make one other comment? So we are going, to your point, we're going into the next budget season. So it would be important for any things that you think would be necessary in that next budget season to make sure that you let Mr. Sorensen know.
okay.
Because that's the next step. So there may or may not be any money now, but we are going into the next budget cycle.
Yes.
So you want to be on the correct list.
yep.
Yep.
And you have to do your budget, all of that, so.
Yes.
Are there any motions to be made here,
Well,
or are these just?
I move that we get a second quote for the wall in Sunnyside, then compare the quotes, and then ask for the funds from the trust fund for Sunnyside Cemetery.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor?
Yep.
Aye. All opposed? Seeing none, the motion passes.
Okay, that satisfies Mel also because she also wanted another quote, so.
All right, moving on to the next item.
Before we leave that
yes,
though, who's
please.
going to actually do this? Getting the other quote?
I'll do, I'll work on
All right,
that.
Dan.
Mhm.
I'd like to know who's responsible for things.
Thank you. Okay. Scheduling of work yet undone. So we could talk about the stones that I mentioned, six or seven in Sunnyside, one in Center, 4 in Blodgett, 2 in Ford, 2 in Center with an S. First, Sunnyside, if we request 5,300 is around what we're going to request for the wall. You subtract that from around the I think you said 8,000.
Yeah,
So we really, at that point, we only have enough money in the trust funds for those 6 or 7 repairs, maybe another 1,000 after that.
well, all right, but we still have $5,000 from this budget year.
Yes,
Okay, and that won't cover,
it may, so that's the discussion.
all right, well, I would like to try repairing as many as we can out of our budget. And we can always go back to the trust fund and say, we would like X amount more,
Yes.
okay? And some of those are more pressing than others. I will say the ones in Sunnyside, there are some of those that are in danger of disappearing.
Agreed.
So that would be a big priority is Sunnyside, so.
We do have several critical in Sunnyside. We
Yeah.
didn't touch Sunnyside. If I remember
No, you
correctly,
didn't
we
go in
didn't go
Sunnyside
into
at all.
Sunnyside last year
Nope.
for repairs.
Nope.
So I would, if
So
We should fix
when can you
all
get
of
the
those.
guy in again, do you think?
So what I would like to do is talk about a dollar amount that we'd like to commit to this, make a motion towards that, and then
Okay.
reach out and schedule Kai to our stone repair guy to come
All right.
come and do that.
So you had 8 critical in Sunnyside, you said, right? How many were there?
I have 6 or 7,
6 or-
a loose count from our notes.
Okay, so let's say there's 7.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I can think of, 7 is probably, so that's $2,100. I would just take, looking at the thing, all of the stones, add them all up, and how many stones altogether did we consider critical?
16.
All right, well, 16 times 3 is a lot. Yeah, that's about 4,800, so.
Yep.
Um,
That'll eat up,
that'll
all
just,
but $200.
yeah, that'll pretty much, I would say let's, say maybe we want to allocate $4,000 to stone repair. And then whatever's left over, keep that in there for contingencies, in case something comes up that we need something.
4,000 would get 13 stones.
Okay,
So if we do a round number, 305 times 13 is 3,965.
all right. So
It's not a round number, but
$3,965.
65.
And then let's prioritize the Sunnyside stones and then work from there. Then if we have, we're only shy about 3 more stones, so we'll see what's what.
We have some of these that are priority 2. So
Yeah.
priority 1 being more severe, priority
Yes.
1 being less. So I would say we immediately do all the priority
Priority
ones.
ones, yes.
And then that should get us close to the 13. If there are any extras, then we'll start chipping into the priority 2s.
Yep, I
And-
agree.
And we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 P1s, just quick count in Sunnyside.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll prioritize Sunnyside. So I'll go ahead and move that we commission the repair of 13 stones throughout the town cemeteries, concentrating on the stones that we gave priority 1 condition during our spring walkthrough.
Okay, I second.
Okay, or is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll go to a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Seeing none, motion carries 2-0.
Just an question about something. Did Kai go into center with an S ever?
Yes.
Okay, what did he say about those stones that are just like, you can see through them? Did he say what he was planning on doing? I'm just curious.
Any of this, so last year when he came through, he did not bring his big machine to handle some of those bigger stones. So he
Okay.
was able to handle some of the smaller stones, and he said that he can handle
Okay,
those. He just needs to,
bring the right equipment?
bring the right equipment.
Well, you better tell him bring his right equipment, because he's gonna have to stand
Yeah.
up those big stones in
Absolutely.
Sunnyside that are on the ground, so, okay. I was just wondering about that, so, all right. Good to me.
Those are our agenda items. Open discussion.
Anything else we want to discuss going forward? Can you report back as soon as you kind of can get Kai on board here?
Yes, I'll send him an email tonight.
All right, okay.
All right.
Anything else?
Just the charter. I know you guys were working on a charter. I know that's something that the Board of Selectmen continue to look at, that we want to get everybody's charters in place.
Okay. We will continue to work on our charter.
And if you have a draft or a beginning point, I'd love to see it.
Sure.
I know Dan did some work on it, so,
I think I have a skeleton. We'll have to look at where it was. It's been a few months, so.
Yeah, and Mr. Sorensen and I have been working diligently on some continuity between charters, so we may have
Oh, okay.
quite a bit of information that can just plug in. So if
Oh,
I take a
okay.
look at it, I'll give you the other categories and stuff. You're probably very close. It's not that complicated, but it just we need to get it done.
Perfect. We'll work on it.
Great.
the other thing just occurred to me was, around the 4th of July and Flag Day and Memorial Day, the Legion went ahead and this year they put flags in every cemetery. Reese Across America used to put them in and leave them in because it made it easier for us the next year to find the graves. But I recently discovered that it is not recommended to leave the flags in the cemeteries all the time because they get dirty, bedraggled, worn, and it's considered disrespectful. I think we need to decide as a cemetery trustees whether we want to ask them to please remove their flags from the town cemeteries based on that guidance. I did bring this up with Val over at the Legion, and I have not heard back from her. So I don't know what their decision was on that, but the flags are all still there. For Reese Across America, it's not a problem anymore because in all but one of the cemeteries, we now have veterans markers. So all we gotta do is go in and put our flags in, then we take them out when we do wreaths out day, or as soon as we can. Sometimes they get frozen in place, but wreaths out date is about second week of January, and we take all the wreaths out of all the cemeteries. And we would take the flags out at the same time. It does make sense because some of those flags get pretty ragged, and when you think about it, it is disrespectful to leave them to get that way. It just never really occurred to me until I was reading about it, and I said, oh, yeah. So, I mean, do we as a cemetery trustees want to request that they collect the flags, or they're their flags, and they may want them for next year for Memorial Day for something. Wreaths Across America puts the flags out the beginning of November so that they're there for Veterans Day and Wreath Day in December. So that's covered, but they sometimes try to do, although they've never done all the cemeteries before, but they try to put flags out for Memorial Day, which is nice. But, I mean...
I think we should ask them after a few months to remove them. So if they're putting them out in May, then August should be removed.
They should be out by now. They should probably, I would say, through the 4th of July, if you want. You've got those 3 holidays in there, Flag Day, Memorial Day, 4th of July. I would say by, the end of July, they should probably all be out of the cemeteries. But I think they're not really... They didn't answer me when I pointed out to them that it wasn't a good idea to leave them. So maybe if we say something officially, give them notification, just ask them to remove them. So they can, and they should still be in pretty good shape, in which case they can use them next year. So.
I think I would be fine with you officially asking them to remove them.
Okay, we'll do it. They'll put Chris on that one. So. Yeah, they got annoyed because I had the flags removed that they put in Hills Farms because Hills Farms does not want flags left there. And I was afraid they were going to think that it was Wreaths Across America had put the flags out and that we were disobeying the agreement we have with them. And so I had the location leader there just come and take them, and he went to give them back to them. I think he did. There was a lot of agita over that one. That's how we got into all this. I tried to explain to him it had nothing to do with the VFW or anybody else right then. It was the cemetery's request. So there aren't any in that, and that's not a town cemetery anyway, so this only applies to the town cemeteries. Okay.
All right, thank you. Any other discussion items for this evening? Seeing none, I will make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? We are adjourned. We are closed at 7:13 p.m. Thank you.